my grandson caught a glimpse of a moose panel that somebody else used in this group and asked his mom if he thought that I would make him a quilt with it. Now, I thought he meant a wall hanging, and it was 43 by 33, and I'm not sure that's not a problem. Well, then it turned out he really wanted to have a throw. So I had to do a little thinking as to how I was going to do this in EQ8. So what I did, I chose a custom set layout versus one of the ones that they have up here that you can choose from. So by doing a custom setup, or custom layout, I can decide how big this block is going to be. And since my panel was 44 by 33, that's what I decided to make as far as the size of my initial start. But of course we know it has to be bigger than that to be a throw. So in order to do that, we have to move on to borders. Now there you can see in here, there's our initial wolf panel, and I scanned that into the fabric so I could actually see it on the screen. That's another nice feature of this program. So I want to put a frame around this. So I'm going to add a border, and I want to frame entirely around the whole thing in 1 inch. That's a good size. We'll leave it at that. Okay, I still need to be adding some more. So let's add another panel. Okay, my second panel, let's make that a little bit bigger. How about if we make it 2 inches all the way around? And again, we're framing the entire thing. This is going to be on the top and the bottom and the sides. So I can just take this and just move it until I get all of them at 2 inches, or I can do each one individually. So now I can see my throw is growing. It's now 49 by 39. So now we need to make it even bigger. So how about if we add another border? This time, let's make the border, let's say 3 inches high. Now we're good with the width for a throw, but 45 inches high is not going to be big enough to cover my grandson. He's bigger than me. So now we have to concentrate on how we're going to do this. So let's add another border. And we're going to do an inch border, but we're only going to do it on the top and bottom because I'm happy with the width that I have. So I'm going to take everything off and just do top and bottom. So now I can do this and make it 1 inch. You can see by the grayed area, I've only got top and bottom added. Now I want to add some more. This time I'd like to make some blocks to make a nice border. So let's add another border. Let's make this only top and bottom, so we're going to take the right and left out of there. Let's make it 8 inches high. And instead of just a plain old block, let's make it a series of blocks. Now it's showing 3, but I can come down here and say, I think I want 5. So now my quilt is growing some more. I'm now 55 by 63. I still need a little bit more. So how about if we frame these blocks with another 1 inch strip? So we're going to come down here, add another border. 1 inch is good, but we don't want it on the sides. We only want it top and bottom. So we're going to take the left and the right out. Okay, let's add one more border to that. And we're going to make that another 3 inches, top and bottom only. That way it'll match this border and this border. It's staying consistent. But we still show, in the gray, we still show inch borders here. We don't want those. So we're going to take those out. We only want top and bottom. And now we're at 71 inches. I like that. Now just for the sake of designing, let's add one more border, and we're going to make that all the way around, and we're going to make that a 1/4 of an inch. That will resemble our binding, so we can see what color binding we want to do. So now we have everything laid out the way we want. Now it's time to start working. So let's go in and design. That's what we have so far. We need much more. Now this is another part of EQ8 that's kind of fun. You can design your own blocks if you want to. There's a ton of blocks that come with this program. But if you want to get into something and say, that's really mine, you can do that too. Now I'm going to show you something that's really simple. In fact, it's already in the program, but just to give you an idea of how you design a block, let's just say that we're going to do that diamond one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I want a pieced block, and let's go to the drawing program. So I'm going to take a line, and I'm going to go from here up to here, down to here, and you can do all kinds of settings so that even if you don't quite reach the line when you're drawing, it'll snap to the line to make it perfect. So after you get that in, then you can go over to the colors, and you can say, okay, I want to color these this color, and I want to make this color, and you're all set to go. Or let's say that you want to make it this color instead. You can swap these around as much as you want. You can choose your own fabrics. You can do so many things with this. So that's how you design a block, and then you would add it to your project sketchbook right here. Now we're not going to use this one, but I just want you to see how this works. So I'm going to click there, and now that block is now available for me to use. So let's go back to the quilt work table, and there it is. But I see one thing that I don't like. I wanted to use a cornerstone right here, and I don't have that. Not a problem. Let's go back to our borders right here. Let's choose this border, which is border number 2, and let's say that we want to do corner blocks. Easily fixed. Now let's go back. Just what I wanted. So let's go to our fabric tools, or I'm sorry, to our block tools. Okay, this is the block we just did, which we could put there, but of course that wouldn't go so good with our project, so let's choose this one instead, and I can just click right over top of that instead of having to erase it first. So that's good. Now this block right here, these 2 blocks, I actually designed these myself. And I designed them so they could be done in paper piecing to get nice sharp points. So I originally started out like this. But as I started to do the paper piecing, and I'm doing these with stuff from my stash, I realized I wasn't going to have enough blue to finish the project. So I dug through the stash again and I found some grays that would go with the grays in the panel. So I changed the coloration and added that. I kind of like that. Now I could have just changed the color right on the screen by going to my fabric tools and choosing colors. Oops. And I'd probably have to scroll in tight so I can see what I'm doing. But I'd have to do that for each block. So instead, to me it was easier to just go back to my block tools, change the coloration, add it to my sketchbook, so now I have it available. So all I have to do is click and click and it's done. So I'm liking that. Now I have to add some more. So we're not talking about any more blocks, we're talking about fabric strips. So let's go to our fabric tools, and I want to use a dark blue for these borders, this border, and I have this wood-looking fabric that I had scanned into my program. And I want to put that here to make it look like a frame. And then I have this cream fabric that I can use throughout the rest of the blocks to finish it up. Now a lot of people can never decide what color should they make their binding. And this binding is so skinny, we're going to have to really zoom in on it. I think I might want to try the dark blue. But I might want to do the cream instead. So let's try them both out. Let's put the cream on this other side. And see which one we like the best. Now let's zoom out. I think I like the darker. So the darker wins. We'll fill those in, and now we're all set. Now the really, really nice thing about this program is that I can print these things out. And like I said, I designed these blocks so that they could be paper pieced. So if I click on a block, click on foundation, the block is 8 by 11. We're going to preview this, and I can move the blocks over, and there's all the blocks that I would need for one square, because it takes 4 sections. I can print this out and use it for paper piecing. Let's say instead we wanted to do rotary cutting. We could click on that, and it'll tell us how to cut each piece to make these squares and which piece goes where. That's pretty neat. Or if we want templates, we can click on that, and it'll actually print out templates to use for cutting all those pieces out if you're not that good at math. Now, as I'm looking at this quilt, I can see that there's something wrong. When I added this frame around here, it's not the same brown as was in these squares. And I wanted those to match. I wanted the wood grain. I chose the wrong fabric here. So that's not a problem. Rather than scanning all through my fabrics again, I can go up here to an eyedropper and say, what was this? It brings up my wood grain, and now I can put the wood grain in the way I wanted it. Let's say I wanted these all to be having the grain going the same way. I can rotate these, and now we're good to go. That's pretty cool. And the last thing that's really, really great about this is, let's go back to the print and export. I can now go into my yardages, and it'll show me every fabric that I need, how many patches I need out of each one, and how much yardage I need for each of them. You can take that right to the fabric store with you and pick out everything you need for your quilt. That's worth its weight in gold.